What is up, everyone? Corn O'Keefe back yet again, and as the title implies, I'm bringing you once again another death battle prediction. Now, today I got a bunch of badasses with me, as you probably know, and today I have a new badass guest on the show. We have RJ Versus in the house. Say what's up.
Hello, everybody. RJ Versus here.
We got Captain Forrest back.
Hey, what's up, guys? Captain Forrest.
We got Infinite, the Jackal King.
Watch up, everyone. Infinite Jackal Keen here.
We got Instinct.
Yo, what's poppin'? Instinct of Doom back yet again.
And we got Lord Kira himself.
What's up, y'all? Lord Kira here. These nuts.
And there might be a few more badasses joining later. Who knows? Sometimes they pop in, sometimes they don't. Either way, we're bringing you a prediction for the next death battle on Shadow, the Hedgehog, or the Edgehog, some might say, versus Ryuko. So, without further ado, Kira is going to talk about his future ex-wife, go over her stats. Infinite is going to talk about Shadow, the Edgehog, and then the rest of us are going to come in and give our thoughts on who's we think is going to take victory more often than not. So, without further ado, Kira, there you go.
All right. Okay, so now first thing is something that we also have to present, and because depending on which version of Ryuko that death battle is going to use, because this is actually very key and something that's actually very important to the match. So now, if they were to use the anime version is pretty simple. You can get them to they have some casual country level stuff, to moon level, to even planet level. And with some of their hacks, they have some moon level stuff to planet stuff, and then also they're actually very hacksy as well. It's for Ryuko, she does have. I'm gonna just go over some basic stuff. She has immortality, regeneration, power null, stat amplification, and even memory manip. So and also blood manip, hair manip, and just a whole bunch of hacks in general. But when it comes to the anime version is really not as strong as the game version, which I am going to touch upon. But just a couple more hacks that the anime version does have is also empathetic manip, also mind manipulation, and even morality manip. If you don't know what morality manip is, if you're new to versus debating or the death battle, morality manip is basically the power to manipulate one's morality or righteous mindset. So basically changing the way that their morals are. So basically changing someone from let's say for an example, if someone has a killing mindset, to able to change that morality to make them super passive and not be able to wanting to fight. So now we're gonna go get into the anime. Not my bad. The game version. The game version of Ryuko. I'm gonna start off with power right away. Power right away. You can easily get from Ryuko to multiversal plus, and this comes from basically the life fibers being able to transcend time and space itself. Time and space, which I am going to be showing all the research on the screen, but basically the life fibers themselves are able to distort the world and actually able to transcend time and space right off the bat. And also these life fibers actually exist in the past, present, and future in itself. So and basically in Ryuko, when she was fighting the life fiber, she was casually able to actually defeat the life fiber in her super form. Another thing that comes into play is her hacks as well. It's when it comes to her hacks, it's kind of like the anime version of itself, of all of what I said, but she also gains instinctive reaction during her super form, being able to fight on pure instinct during the fight with the life fibers. And also when it comes to this, she also has some other abilities as well. It's during this she has absorption, so anything that any character can throw at her, she'll be able to absorb it and just amp herself during this fight. So actually every hit that she's taking she's actually gaining much more strength out of it. So that's some small stuff like for like Ryuko, and further down the line, I am gonna add some more stuff as well. So Infinite can like talk about Shadow now.
Yeah, so starting out with Shadow, he's considered as Sonic's rival in numerous games with him and Shadow. Sonic has demonstrated universe level plus in different games. For starters, facing against Infinite, who created No Space. I made a video about the Infinite power scaling video. Not I was Okay, so he also has another thing like surviving like scaling like Sonic like time meters existing race like destroying like one timeline he's tanked, which Shadow should scale. Even up to that point, even base Shadow even bullies this base Infinite who's should be like the same tier, not should be like the same unit level plus, but not exactly the same like his other. Yeah, that's basically it. Now, blowing my screw attack that might have base like planet level to solar system. Now he does have planet level stuff in solar system to and also star. Um, again, going what Death Battle is going to do. They might go with the finite stuff. Now, that's the base Shadow. Now going off with speed, there's a lot of finite calcs for scaling since Shadow does scale to base Sonic, up to and Sonic Forces. So he has like obviously FTL for base, but if you want to go higher, he has quadrillion to trillions FTL from calcs. And I think, and as I mentioned or said in my How Fast is Sonic video, I have shown that Sonic has infinite accessible to immeasurable speed. Again, you could check the video in the description below. That's for base speed. For hacks, here we'll go over a little bit more about Shadow, but I'll go over some of the hacks I know. He obviously can use Chaos Control even without the Chaos Emerald in Sonic Forces, and Shadow described it as he can freeze time, but there's also like statements that with Chaos Control it can manipulate time and space, and the screen will show these consistent statements of Chaos Control do these things. So here you can go over the other hacks of Shadow, including super form.
All right. So then also that we also want to mention is that another hacks for Shadow is that in Shadow in his base form due to Sonic Chronicles, he also has existence erasure, which he has shown to do with the Chaos Rift, and also with something that you also like to mention as well as like when it comes to Shadow's hacks and his abilities, he also has like Chaos Emeralds, which is his part of his standard equipment, and these Chaos Emeralds themselves also correlate with Shadow's hacks as well when it comes to like the Chaos Emeralds themselves having their own dimensions within them and their own properties as well. Then also Shadow also has like light manipulation. He also has mind manipulation, and he also has like different elemental attacks as well. And basically, and then also he has like different chaos abilities, which also have their own hacks as well when it comes to like what it is, just overall, just they have like all the hacks that the Chaos Emeralds do have.
Also, another thing I forgot to mention that he has resistance to mind control from like Black Doom. The given context, basically, Black Doom is Shadow's father, and basically he has his blood and he mind control in the game, and Shadow resists that and stood up to him. But it's not like a layered resistant to mind hacks. So yeah, Kira, you want to go over the super form?
All right. Okay. So when it comes to the super form of Super Shadow, now this is something that we clearly that we want to mention. So in the fight with Solaris, this is something that is very key. Okay, now. So in this fight, it was stated in a guidebook that Sonic himself could have defeated Solaris on his own. The only problem is that Solaris existed in the past, present, and future due to needing help from Sonic and Silver. So now it's mentioned in the guidebook that Sonic himself could easily defeat him. So now this also goes back to Shadow as well, because in their super forms, Super Shadow and Super Sonic are equal because both powers deriving from the Chaos Emeralds. Now also from this as well, it's like even Shadow even said himself, a super dimensional being, this might be a fair fight. So and clearly in that mindset, Shadow already knew that he had more power and he could defeat him. So now then also when it comes to like Super Shadow himself, Super Shadow can also use reality warping himself to easily reality warp like any being. It's like he reality warped the Bio Lizard and set him back. And basically reality warped Bio Lizard and reality warped the moon back to its place. And now I'll let Infinite say the rest.
So for other stuff, and also I'll bring in Corn as well to anything he has to say. There's some minor things that I don't know if Deathbot are bringing up, but in Sonic 06, Shadow has the IQ of 200, and that will be in the screen. Another thing to point out that his stamina overall how long he can fight, but in the Sonic 06, again will be showing in the screen that it was stated that he never gets tired because basically his genes were altered to never get tired. So that's basically it. So,
All right.
Corn, you got anything
Right
else
on.
to say about Shadow?
Yeah. Just for like in terms of his ranges for his super form, we know he has consistent ranges from anywhere from low multiversal to normal multiversal, and even possibly multiversal plus. Now, the low multiversal stuff comes from, well, one of them is Solaris. It was actually verbatim stated that Solaris was capable of collapsing all timelines into nothing. So this would include, at bare minimum, 3 different timelines, bare minimum, right there. That's low multi. However, we also know this includes far more. There's also the Monogonary world. Now, this world is actually shown and stated to contain the fourth dimension, and within this world, there are essentially countless other universes or dimensions within this dimension, essentially. And I will leave links down below in the description if you want to check that out for yourselves. So, yeah, if we take this into account with this feat from Solaris, this would be full on multiversal, depending on how you argue it. And now there's also other arguments from different sources that you could argue to be multi plus. Infinite, would you like to elaborate a little on the multi plus?
Multi plus. I think Kirion went on about the multi plus and super forms. Oh yeah, so multi plus that basically came from there was a draft script for Sonic 06 that basically that Eggman said mentioned like infinite like timelines, and that will be showing you the screen. If you also want the link of what the script is, link it will be in the description below right there.
Yeah, and now we're
That's
not
basically
like
what it is.
saying this is like literally a fact or anything, but we're just throwing it out because it is a possibility and it's something to take into consideration. But at bare minimum, the super forms are easily low multi to full on multiversal for Super Shadow. Now his speed easily immeasurable. I mean, heck, the Super Hedgehogs were keeping up with Solaris, who transcends linear time itself and exists simultaneously throughout time. And yet they were still able to move swifter than some of his attacks and react to him right off the bat. We even have stuff from Base Sonic running so fast that he was causing time to flow again. And this is, Base Sonic, who obviously Base Shadow himself would be relative to. So this would just support that even more. And even if you don't think Base Shadow has immeasurable, right? at base to Super Shadow definitely does. Super Shadow clearly does keep up with a transcendent life form very casually and had no problem doing it. So, with that out of the way, I think Captain Forrest might want to come in and give his thoughts, followed by RJ Versus, and then Instinct.
Certainly. Yeah. So Shadow, in base, he's pretty comparable to Sonic anyway. They've both swapped with each other so easily. Like the speed, he should easily have immeasurable speed using the proper scaling. But if we're going off Death Battle standards, they'll probably only use like FTL or like MFTL or like finite speed scaling. Same thing for like Ryuko. So if we just only talk about the anime, just like the standard like base Ryuko and like base Shadow, I just see like even if we like downgrade and go off like Death Battle's like way of doing things in terms of like the low balling scaling for both of them, I still think Shadow would take victory in that scenario more often than not. The chaos control is way too much. She doesn't have anything against the time manipulation. Shadow has a lot of hexes in terms of his chaos manipulation. He can imbue his attacks with chaos. He can also use chaos spears. He can spam them, and also just he could just impale Ryuko with a bunch of chaos spears and just decapitate her, and just like override her healing factor. He also has chaos blast, which is an area of effect, so he could just vaporize her while she's frozen in time. So I just think he just speed blitz in one shot. But if we incorporate like all of the other forms, like including like the composite of the games, I feel like Death Battle will probably do this too. So they'll just incorporate all of their forms, including Shadow's like this is super form too. Yeah, I think like more often than not, like she has the AP more, like the scaling in terms of multi plus. Like she just completely just beat Shadow. There's nothing Shadow can do. She transcends like time and space, so the chaos control won't do anything. Time hexes won't do literally squat. And pretty much she just be able to just use her hacks. She just use her hexes on Shadow, and even in his super form, like yes, he's invulnerable, so nothing can happen. But obviously, there's for a short amount of time. But once that form runs out, it's like it's GG no re. There's nothing like Shadow can do in that state. So if they do like use like the game feats with the multiversal plus stuff, she would definitely take victory more often than not in that scenario. But if it's just strictly anime, like I really don't see much she can do. Like Shadow just has the AP advantage overall, especially like just standard base Shadows like Uni Plus, and obviously with the other hexes, and of course he just share a lot of like Sonic's abilities. So like obviously spin dash, homing attacks, and Shadow Tornado. He can do all sorts. He definitely shows a lot of prowess in fights, but he mainly goes for hexes in character more, than like skill. So he just overwhelm in character with the hexes. So depending on the scenario and depending on what they use, like I'd see Shadow taking it more often than not. But if they do use like the crazy stuff from the games, the composite stuff like the multi plus stuff, then I really see Ryuko taking victory more often than not. So that's my thoughts.
Oh yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention about the Shadow stuff. A little thing. So first, Shadow's Chaos Spear can like neg the ability, and also like for super forms, the way how they can be harmed is either they can like negate or bypass the positive energy, or they have a higher AP advantage. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about for Shadow now.
Alright, so I guess it's my turn. I actually agree a lot with a lot of like what Forrest was saying, but for the game version, I feel like when they do use finite speed, they're gonna get a way to get Shadow faster a lot easier than they would getting Ryuko faster than Shadow, and there's definitely a case to be made with, her being stronger. I know that I know that depending on the scaling, for the most part with the game, she probably is stronger. But again, this is Death Star we're talking about, so they probably will find a way to get Shadow strongest. And for the most part, I do agree with what he was saying. And for speed, they're definitely going to have a hard time finding speed feats for Ryūko, actually. Not to call out Kurai, but kind of didn't touch up on most of the speed stuff. Like, you did get the immeasurable part for game Ryuko, but for canon Ryuko, you have mainly a lot of relativistic stuff. You can get her to like 75 to 79% the speed of light if you take Nono's sonic beams as being actual lasers in light. A lot of people might say, oh, but her whole thing is like sound based, so all of her stuff is just like the speed of sound. Like, but you can clearly see that they're actual lasers. But overall, I do think that, for the anime, you will more than likely see them have Shadow for the win, because it's more than likely that he's going to win, period. But for the games, I have a bad feeling that they're probably still going to get Shadow to win, just based off of speed alone and possibly not even really scaling Ryuko properly in the games. Because we've seen that their writers and everything, well, not really their writers, more so just like their researchers, aren't as thorough as a lot of us power scalers are. They're like not as too much of a knock on them, but like you kind of see that truly. But for the most part, I do agree with what Forrest said, and for the games, again, sneaking suspicion, they're probably still going to have Shadow win.
All right, Instinct, you ready?
Well, as for me, I agree with everything what Forrest and Alice has said. Like with the speed thing, if they go with the fine calcs, Dev Battle's probably going to get away with it, and they're going to like that. Like, because if they downplay either of them, then I don't know. But if they stick with if they use like their measurable speeds, like higher than finite speed stuff, then I can see Shadow taking it more often than not. But if they use like the games for Ryuko and her crazy stuff in there, then she could probably take it more often than not. It depends on what version they use for her. That's my thoughts.
Right on, right on. So I guess for me, and to add on a little more to the low multi stuff, you also have Supersonic, who Super Shadow scales to, also defeating Time Eater, and Time Eater is at bare minimum capable of destroying 2 universes at least. So, but yeah, like, so we also know, right, that Shadow in the super form, as mentioned a few times, that he scales to Supersonic, and to support the Solaris feat, we know Supersonic beat Time Eater. Time Eater himself is capable of at least destroying 2 universes, bare minimum, right off the bat, a low multiversal feat. So you also have Time Wizard as well, another low multiversal character, possibly multiversal, comparable to the Time Eater, and is able to stabilize timelines himself and universe. So with that in mind, who I think would win more often than not? Well, I mean, again, if they do include the game stuff, I don't really scale Ryuko really at all, like game or anime, but just going off what the homies have said, they scale her, they dabble in her, yeah, I would say it sounds like the game stuff she might edge out in AP and a couple other categories possibly. But if you just go with like the anime stuff strictly, then yeah, I would have to say Shadow, who I scale more. I scale him obviously a little more. I would have to say he would probably take it more often than not, definitely than Ryuko if we're just doing it that way. So if that's the case, Hedgehog all day long, I'd have to say more often than not. But if they include everything for her, then just going off what I'm hearing here, right? Possibly her, but again, it could go either way. And also, it could just depend on how Death Battle handles it. Either way, seems like a really unique idea in a sense, really interesting, to say the least. So I'm looking forward to seeing this Death Battle. So, anyone else want to give their thoughts before we head off?
Yeah, sure. Because I forgot to mention some stuff as well and give my verdict of who I think will win. So like I also forgot to mention that the whole immeasurable speed for the game version of Ryuko is actually layered. Immeasurable speed is actually layered because the thing is because with the life fiber which I did mention the multiversal plus stuff. She is actually far faster than the life fiber is. She's far faster, and and that's just something I wanted to point out. She is far faster. So like right off the bat, she already got a layer into immeasurable speed, and then also for like my verdict of who I think will win, I do agree with with everyone here about it depends on which version because like if they're gonna use the anime version alone, then she's gonna get outsped and then existence erased and then it's GG. But when it comes to the game wise, it's a completely different ballpark. I love Shadow and I've been scaling him a whole lot longer. But the thing is, Shadow does not have a chance at all. And plus, one of her hacks, like I mentioned, was the whole morality manip. Morality manip is very key because in this fight, she can just use her morality manip and just cause Shadow not to want to fight anymore or like to change his morals. So like if Shadow is having like this bloodlusted, like he's going in bloodlusted, then all she needs to do is just use her morality manip and completely change that and completely make him powerless. And then also for each hit she takes, she's becoming much more stronger than that. But and then also I just want to mention one more thing. If you guys want to skip this part, but so I'm just gonna end up saying that. But overall, I think game version of Ryuko should win, and then if they're using anime version only, then Shadow's gonna win. And that's my verdict.
Right on.
Anyone else?
I pretty much agree with everyone said. Can't wait for the fight. I hope they don't downplay Shadow. I hope they give him more justice. Just make him at least FTL for the benefit of the doubt. Death Battle, please. But yeah.
Yeah. I just hope both characters get justice, and we all hope you all badasses out there watching this enjoyed this. All right. So we hope y'all have a blessed day. Peace.
He's nuts.